is Canon still on schedule to announce the Canon EOS R5 Mark II in February? Has the R5 already entered mass production for a February announcement and an early March release? Stick around after this short message for all the details. But first, subscribe to this channel for a chance to win a Canon EOS R5. I'll be giving one away to one lucky subscriber once this channel reaches 100,000 subscribers. Anyone above the age of 18 with a valid mailing address is eligible. Additional terms and conditions are linked in the description down below. Are you tired by the lack of specifications and information for the upcoming Canon EOS R5 Mark II? I mean, after all, if all the forecasts are correct, including the ones on this channel, that we are getting an announcement of the Canon EOS R5 Mark II in February, sometime around CP+, well then we should be getting some leaked specifications, shouldn't we? Well, this morning, thanks to the Camera Insider, we at least have an update on the availability of this camera and when we can expect to have it start shipping. The commencement of the initial production phase of the Canon EOS R5 Mark II appears to be underway, as per credible regional sources. It's worth noting, however, that the prototype phase of the development process has been successfully concluded. This signifies a significant milestone in the development of the camera. Canon is now actively moving towards the next stages of production, including tooling and parts allocation. That is a very positive sign. Once a company starts moving into that phase where they're trying to allocate parts and they're working on contracts, they're getting everything set up to actually get into that production stage of a camera, that indicates that a release or an announcement or the camera will start shipping sometime within the next 2 to 6 months. But that's not what various rumor sites have been telling us, and we even forecast that CP Plus in early 2024, a week before the announcement or a week before CP Plus, is the most likely time frame of an announcement of the Canon EOS R5 Mark II. But this is what the Camera Insider had to say about that. Several reputable sources have consistently asserted that we can anticipate an official announcement of the EOS R5 Mark II in February 2024. This announcement may take several forms, ranging from a preliminary teaser campaign, development announcement, or an all-encompassing product launch. Now, if this is true, I could expect one of two types of announcements. The one that we got with the Canon EOS R5, where Canon came out with a development announcement, and then shortly thereafter, Canon Australia came out with an updated piece, followed by Canon USA with NAB 2020. But there's another possibility as well, that Canon could do something similar to what Nikon did with the Nikon Z9. Nikon teased the Z9 for 4 weeks before the announcement, with a new video each week showing off the camera, video, and stills capabilities. I know what you're thinking. Okay, so we've heard this for months now that the Canon EOS R5 Mark II is going to be announced sometime in February, most likely before CP+, in the week leading up to CP+. But when are we going to be able to get our hands on this camera? Are we going to have to wait 2 weeks, 2 months, or 6 months? And as you've seen with the recently announced Canon RF 200 to 800mm, a lens that's supposed to start shipping, at least in the United States, on December the 14th, sometimes the wait after an announcement is a bit lengthy. As in the 200 to 800mm, that's about a 6 to 7 week wait. Well, according to the Camera Insider, one source claims that they've been told availability of the camera will come very soon after the official announcement. So that's good. That would mean either a late February shipment date or perhaps early March. And that's really good because, well, for me personally, and this is a bit selfish, I do need a second camera. I'm tired of constantly taking this camera off and having to reset things up after each shoot. I'm used to having my camera by my chair, by my table, so that way if something happens, I've got the camera, turn it on, and I'm ready to start shooting. I'm ready to go out. The camera's ready, and in this situation where it's in Studio A, I tend to not take the camera with me as much. So for me to have a second camera, that's huge, and have the R5 Mark II as a second camera instead of, and we can still save $900 on the Canon EOS R5, the R5C. I want to get the latest and the greatest because after all, what kind of a camera forecasting and news channel would I be without the latest and greatest Canon gear? Well, the Camera Insider had this to say as a final teaser at the bottom of their post. There's another paragraph coming, but I need approval. So there you go, another update on the Canon EOS R5 Mark II. I'm not surprised. I told you we'd start to get leaks on the camera in December because if we are getting a February announcement, we can expect some leaks. And I expect more. I was really hoping that this one would be a whole set of specifications for the Canon EOS R5 Mark II. Now, we have had the Camera Insider as well as Canon rumors indicate that the resolution of this camera is going to be somewhere north of 50 megapixels, most of them being between 60 and 62 megapixels on a stacked full-frame sensor. And that's really good news. Now, in terms of frames shooting rate or video specifications, we're hearing that it could be somewhere around 8K up to 60 frames per second and 20 to 30 frames per second continuous shooting raw. But as much as I'm excited about those specifications as the rest of the leak specifications on the Canon EOS R5 Mark II from Canon rumors and the Camera Insider, they haven't been validated from multiple sources, and each post that comes out is different in some way. Dual card slots, a single card slot, a CF Express Type C, CF Express Type B, full-size HDMI, no mention of a full-size HDMI, 60 megapixels, 61 megapixels, 62 megapixels, all stacked sensor. So at this point, we really don't know the leaked specifications. We don't know what's going to be in the Canon EOS R5 Mark II, but hopefully Canon has learned from the Mark I, and that will get better heat management, that will get dual CF Express Type B card slots, and a full-size HDMI port. But more importantly, I hope that this isn't a minor and a modest update. I hope this is a big update. And looking at the Nikon Z8, it having a 45 megapixel full-frame stacked sensor, I really do expect to see a stacked sensor in this camera. The Sony also has a stacked sensor. So we're seeing, I think if Canon came out with anything less than a stacked sensor, people would just be panning it like they did with the, the Mark I with the overheating. And even if this camera had a backside illuminated sensor, in my view, that would still make it a very capable camera. Just look at the Mark I with its non-backside illuminated, non-stacked sensor, non-global shutter sensor, and look at how good the camera is, even 4 years out from its its launch back in July of 2020. The Mark I is still a very good camera. I do suspect that Canon doesn't want to have any bad press by not putting a stacked sensor in there, because that will take away from what is going to be otherwise a very good camera. They're going to push up the video specifications, they're going to put up the still specifications, but at this point we don't know the detailed leaked specifications. We don't have any images of the camera, but I suspect the camera body is going to look pretty much the same with a Mark II on the front, and hopefully within the next couple of weeks leading up to Christmas we might get some leaked specifications, at least a handful of them. Wouldn't that be nice? Just after getting some new lenses like the 200 to 800 millimeter, the 24 to 105 f2.8, to get a list of leaked specifications for the Canon EOS R5 Mark II. And of course, what about the Canon EOS R1? We are keeping an eye on that one as well, but right now it seems to be everything's gearing up to talk about the Canon EOS R5 Mark II, but starting in January, we start to expect some sort of slow burn announcement of the Canon EOS R1, most likely some sort of development announcement, maybe a teaser, maybe a series of teasers. I would expect Canon with the R1 to mirror what they did with the Canon EOS R5 Mark II, and what that was from, I would say, February all the way to May is when, oh, let me see if we got any other leaked specifications here, because this story's coming in. Nope, that's just some Black Friday stuff. They're trying to sell me on more things, not camera related. But anyways, I do expect to get some leaked specifications on the Canon EOS R1 as well, but I would expect that to happen more into January. Right now, it's all about the Canon EOS R5 Mark II and what lenses we might get in the first quarter, as we're supposed to get some primes like a 35mm, 24mm, and 20mm all L series, and all either an f1.2 or an f1.4. And if you're looking at purchasing new camera gear, such as the Canon EOS R5 Mark I on sale, $900 off, the R5C on sale, Sony gear on sale, Panasonic gear on sale, Nikon gear on sale, it's all on sale, as is storage. Now's a great time to purchase stuff that you need for 2024. Then please consider using my affiliate links down below for Adorama, B&H, and Amazon.com if that's who you normally purchase through. And also, don't forget to reach out to your local camera store, because they need your love as well. And as much as I do make a small commission, anywhere from 2% to 15% when you use my affiliate links down below, it makes me very happy for you to use your local camera store, because these are the cornerstones of our communities. To be able to walk into a store, to be able to know the people you work with, or that you have relationships with, that provide you with the camera gear, that are always there, that are knowledgeable, that are able to answer your questions. I think that's something special. And Thursday, I might be taking the day off to go down to Downtown Camera to pick up my new RF 200 to 800 millimeter f6.3 to 9. That's assuming, of course, that we have the exact same shipping date in Canada as the United States. So if it's December the 14th in the US, I expect it to be the same in Canada. Why is that? Well, you see, Canon Canada is more or less a branch operation of Canon USA. So if Canon USA has set the date, usually that same date applies to Canada. So December the 14th. Will I have my lens on Friday? Will I have it on Thursday? Well, we'll just have to wait and see. But that's it for now. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you again soon. And who knows, maybe I'll have another video later today, depending on what that final paragraph is on the Camera Insider. I wonder what that final information is. It'd be nice if it was a bunch of leaked specs, but I have a sense it's related to the date and availability.